let's dive into these tiers of these players this week. So first of all, we got the next boot tier. We got the showmance tier. I think you can guess who's in that tier. We got the starting to rebound tier. We got the riding the wave tier. And we got the potential winners tier. So let's kick things off with the next boot tier. And coming in at dead last at number 12, going down 7 spots, I have Mickey. I honestly do believe Mickey is going to make herself the target by the end of the week, because I just think after being on this power trip, I do not think she's going to handle it well after being put on the block by somebody who she was trying to get the whole house to actively target last week during a week where she wasn't even head of household. And I think that that's going to get back to Rachel. On Wednesday's episode, Mickey said that she didn't want Vince or Zach up, which is crazy because she was pitching both of them. And it's like you can't play both sides and also lie to the audience. Morgan tells you some information about Ava, and she goes up to Ava and tells her, hey, just so you know, Morgan, she has your name in her mouth right now. If that is your number one, right, and if that final four is who you claim to be working with, why on earth are you pitching Morgan to Ava? It makes absolutely no sense. The gameplay makes no sense. The fact that she is walking around acting like she is one of the most dominant players in the house is mind-blowing to me. She is definitely one of the most active players, probably the most active player. Just because she's active doesn't mean she's good. And in fact, the fact that she is so active among a cast of so many passive players makes her that much more of a bad player. The fact that she goes up to Ava and tells her this about Morgan and almost gets Morgan on the block is terrible. If she was a good game player, she would have had Will go up to Ava and tell her this, and would have accomplished ultimately what you would have wanted, and that is to put Morgan on the mind of Ava as head of household. Otherwise, why else would you say this? You say that you did not want this to happen. What am I doing? What is this? That had to have been what you were doing. Have Will do it. Mickey and Morgan are also both so bad about openly talking about jury and who they want on the jury. Two people who they say, I want you in jury, and Morgan got into a fight with Rachel about this, the only fight in the history of Rachel Riley's career that she's ever won. Mickey is even worse with this because Morgan, is going around talking about jury and telling people who she wants on jury, but Mickey is talking about final twos with people that she's not even in the final two with. And before the vote, her candidly telling Ashley that she feels like that she can control the vote and that she's got to do what's best for her game and not considering what's best for Ashley's game when you're having a conversation with her at that moment is absolutely bananas. And Ashley calls her out on this, which I thought was smart. And Mickey, you may think you have Ashley here, but you do not have Ashley. Ashley is more Team Rachel. Buckle in, Mickey. Next up in the next boot tier, coming in at number 11, going down 5 spots, I have Morgan. As of right now, if nothing changes, there's probably more people in the house that are actively anti-Morgan, but I do think that, as crazy as this sounds, I think Morgan might handle her time on the block a little bit better, and I think with Mickey and Morgan both on the block, I think they're both going to spiral. I think Vince is going to talk to Morgan and try to get to her and say, you need to calm down because Mickey is going to self-implode and Mickey is going to blow up. I think Katherine and Rylie, though not the biggest fans of Morgan, you gotta remember, Mickey took away Riley's head of household. They probably would want to vote Mickey out. Keanu is actively targeting Mickey right now. Morgan really needs to do a good job of reeling it in. And it's really a battle between these two to see who spirals more. Morgan, I think right now, is probably more of the target. Mickey and Morgan might be the worst duo in the history of the game. It's not even really close. And coming in at number 10, going up 2 spots, I have Vince. Vince will be Rachel's target. Rachel has wanted Vince out from the jump. Rachel's a good game player. Rachel's played this game now 3 times. She's got to think Vince just lost his number 1 ally. She's going to put up Mickey and Morgan, and she's got to know Morgan and Mickey are pretty tight. And after this vote, I mean, Vince is almost on an island. I mean, he has Morgan, he has Lauren. But I do think Mickey and Morgan for the entire house is more of a target than Vince is. I don't think the showman is going to vote out Vince. Keanu, no matter how hard Rachel tries, I don't think will vote out Vince. Lauren is definitely not going to vote out Vince. Kelley has said that she would vote out Vince, but especially with these 3 nominees, I don't think she would. Then you just really have Ashley, Will, and Ava. That's less numbers. I don't think there's enough votes right now for Vince to go home. He was able to do enough things to make sure that the majority of the people wanted him to stay when he was so much more of a, I think, game threat. And granted, I think Zach did a lot of things to sink his own game, but Vince doing enough to protect his own ass, very impressive, especially when the optics are he's playing a much better game. But the problem is Zach was always there and was always meant to take the hit for Vince, and he was always there to give off the impression that he had Morgan and he had Lauren. But now Vince is the person who has Morgan and who has Lauren, so he's going to always be kind of out in front and be the leader of that side. If Rachel's smart and Rachel wants to get Vince out, if that's her MO this week, she would put up probably Vince, Lauren, Morgan. That would probably be the three to put up. Vince has done enough socially, in my opinion, to where I think he will be protected this week. It's going to be close. If Mickey leaves this week, it's pretty much an even playing field for all the sides. If Morgan goes, definitely weakens Vince, and if Vince goes, that side's pretty much non-existent. For Rachel's game, she definitely wants Vince or Morgan to go, but I think the house and how Mickey will probably handle her time on the block, I do think Mickey will be the one to end up going home. The next tier we have is the showman's tier, and I don't really need to give you much of an explanation who's in this tier. Coming in at number 9, I have Katherine going up 1 spot, and at number 8, I have Rylie going up 3 spots. For now, they aren't being targeted and they aren't protected, but they will be targeted coming up pretty soon. I'm not sure who wins ahead of household that will be targeting them, but their time for safety is running out. The only way that either one of them win the game is if they get to the end together. If they allow that to happen, that is absolutely ludicrous, and I don't know how they would have done that. But I don't have a lot to say about them other than they make me super uncomfortable, and I hope that this season isn't set up for them to win as everybody else is taking shots at each other while they're cuddling on the couch awkwardly. This kind of takes the place for me of the will not win tier. Starting to rebound, coming in at number 7, going up 5 spots, we have Keanu. Keanu doesn't know how to read the game at all, but god dang it, is he not fun to watch. He loves to have his rose-colored glasses on. He loves to have his blinders on. Rachel tries her best to tell him what's going on in the game, but he refuses to believe her, and he thinks that he has everything figured out. I just don't see a world where he wins, but it is going to be fun this week where he's probably not even going to be considered to be put on the block. Keanu, like, again, I mentioned Taryn from Rob Has a Podcast a lot. He is a guy who is supposed to be a week 1 boot, and he is still hanging around, and it is so interesting to watch that kind of player stick around for this long. He's great at these competitions, even though his reads are so bad. I think people do like Keanu. I think Vince, for what it's worth, does like him. I think Kelley has a great relationship with him. Rylie and Katherine, I think, are off and on with Keanu as far as how they feel about him. Rachel and him have one of the more notorious love-hate relationships in the house. Keanu is going to survive this week. I still think he would be a target if anybody like Lauren wins ahead of household, or if Mickey wins ahead of household again, or if Morgan wins ahead of household. I think she would target him. That's the problem with the Morgan, Vince, Mickey, Lauren. Even though they want to pretend like they're playing this good game, they want to talk about Final 2 and jury all the time, they will not target the side that is directly coming after them. Instead, they will target people who actually want to work with them, and they will try to get rid of people that are in the middle. They want to keep both sides happy. You can't play Switzerland for this long. You can't just get down to the final 8 and have 4 people on each side and have 4-on-4 duel. That's not how this works. Keanu, after being targeted for so long, he wins the blockbuster, comes out on top after a whole Thursday live feed where he was discussing if he should throw it or not. I do think if certain people win head of household, he could be the target, but as of right now, I think he's safe. Coming in at number 6 in the starting to rebound tier as well, going up 3 spots, we have Kelley. Another person like Keanu, who was on the block every week, mostly to her own doing by volunteering, is starting to fade into the background a little bit. One of my favorite scenes in this episode was of Kelley and Rylie sitting in the backyard, both of them in their sunglasses, and they were sitting there discussing the vote like 2 master strategists, like 2 people that are really controlling this week's vote. Kelley's not going to win the game, and it would take a crazy, I don't know, like she would have to be in the final 2 with one of the people from the showmance, maybe in the final 2 with like Vince and a bitter jury. Maybe she's in the final 2 with somebody like Lauren, perhaps she'll win. Much like Keanu. This is supposed to be a week 2, week 1 boot that is surviving this far, and honestly, I hope both of them are in the final two. I think that would be the best representation of what Big Brother 27 was, as if Keanu and Kelley were your final two. Next up, we have Riding the Wave, and coming in at number 5, going down 3 spots, I have Lauren. Now, Lauren takes a big blow this week, losing Zach, and, you know, if she wanted to switch the vote, or if she wanted to do something about this, or do anything at all, she could start by sharing her opinion. The more and more I hear her on the live feeds just say, I don't know what I should do. Let me think about it. I just think that she has no opinion, no spine, is a lot like Vince, where she's just trying to get into every conversation and is not that good at the game. Mickey, Morgan, Vince, one of them is probably going to be the next boot. Katherine and Rylie don't like their winning chances. Keanu, Kelley, highly doubt they get to the end. So that puts Lauren as a top 5 player in this cast. Isn't that absolutely ludicrous? No one's targeting Lauren. She's actively in a better position than Keanu, than Kelley, than Katherine, than Rylie. Do I think she's going to win? No. Nobody really has anything negative to say about her, but I don't think anybody would give her their vote at the end either. Coming in at number 4, going up 3 spots, I have Ashley. Realistically, Ashley probably belongs in the starting to rebound tier, but she definitely belongs in my top 4. And I think is one of the more active players in the game, but is good at it. I think she's good at listening to people's opinions on the game and filling in people who she trusts, which is Will and Rachel. And she's also good about leaking information about people that she doesn't like. She's a very good, messy player who is also starting to understand the game a little bit better. I think Ashley is well insulated with the Wills and the Rachels of the world. I think Mickey still thinks that she has her. Ashley, I think, is playing a much improved game. Coming in at number 3 and going up 5 spots, I have Will. I had Will this high to start the year, and then I thought, oh, he's going to be a perpetual pawn. He's going to, there's no way he's going to win. But now I'm back on the Will train, baby, and I think that if he gets to the end with probably anybody that isn't in the top 3, I think he has a real good shot. He is well liked. He is the old man of the group. He's not the one making integral strategy decisions. I think it's going to be hard for people to vote somebody like Will out of this game. Now in the potential winners selection, and coming in at number 2, going up 2 spots, I have Rachel. Rachel's undeniable at this point. I think Rachel is running circles around these kids. The only reason I have Rachel at 2, and the only way I think Rachel wouldn't win, is if the jury is anti-giving Rachel another win. And coming in at number 1, not going up or down any spots, I have Ava. This is the 3rd week in a row I've had Ava at number 1, and the only thing that stresses me out about her is that she needs to take a little bit more agency. Yes, she still ends up putting up big targets and has the most successful HOH week. However, she needs to own that, tell us why she did that, and she needs to. And when people kind of want to discuss game, you don't have to do it all the time, but you need to at least give them something. So when you're sitting at the end, people want to give you credit for that head of household you just had, because this was your head of household and you did a great job of getting a big target out. Prior to that, you convinced Zach and Vince to vote with you. You have arguably the best resume in the house right now. The problem is I don't think Ava knows she does. She's going to have Will probably tell her that. How will Ava perform in a final 2 speech scenario? But I am high on Ava, and I'm high on Ava's game. I think there's a lot of targets above her. Rachel's a huge target. Ashley's even a target. Kelley, Keanu, the showmans, everybody in the first boot tier. There's a lot of targets above her. That was my player rankings and week review. What'd you guys think? Leave it in the comment section down below. Don't forget to check out the links down below as well. Like me on Facebook at Troop Talks. Follow me on Twitter at Troop Talks, and follow me on TikTok at Troop Talks Clips. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.